Christ the King of the universe is maybe one of my favorite feasts in the whole liturgical year. It's so beautiful and so inspiring to know that we are royal people, that I'm following a king, not just any crazy guy who lived 2,000 years ago. He's a king and is still king today. But if I can be honest with you, it wasn't always like that. Christ, King of the universe, sounds great, but then when it becomes personal and I need to say, Christ, my King, so Christ the one I follow, Christ the one I worship, Christ the one I submit myself, my life, and every decision to. If I can be completely honest, I think on one side I was afraid. I was afraid that in following Christ fully and totally, I had to give up stuff, had to give up things, and I had to choose a boring life. Because if you follow Christ, if you're fully committed, well, your life will be boring and you cannot have fun anymore. And you are called to just be a little bit sad and pious and not enjoy life. That's what I thought. I don't know if I'm the only one thinking like that at this moment. But it was at some point something that changed in my life. On one side, I start reflecting on my life. And I see, am I truly happy in everything I do? And I see my life and I see that almost like, the ancient Greek theater where they use masks. And I was having a mask when I was in church. I was having a different mask when I was at school. I was having a different mask when I was with my family. A different one when I was with my friend. There wasn't just one me. I had different roles, maybe false images that I was following. And I was even confused. It's like, who am I? I'm the one, the pious one. I'm the studious one. I'm the one who does what he does with his friends. Or I'm the one with the family. And that what changed me even more was to see people. People who inspired me, that they were totally surrendered their life to Christ. They chose to follow Christ fully, like our friends tonight, who are committing themselves as adults to say, I want Christ. I want to follow Christ. I want him to be my king. And that was inspiring for me. My old way wasn't working. Maybe there was another way working. And I remember Charlie, the story of Charlie at least. Charlie is a teenager, at the time was a teenager, and like some teenagers, sometimes he was in a party because his best friend's parents were gone. And so a bunch of teenagers gather in the house. They have fun, they have too much fun with what they're not supposed to use, alcohol mainly. And Charlie's best friend got drunk to the point that she doesn't even realize who she is, what she's doing. And as she's walking over the stairs to go to her parents' bedroom, another guy comes and starts to talking to Charlie's best friend. And this guy and this girl start walking toward the bedroom together. But Charlie didn't like that. So he stepped up, he went to that guy and said, what are you doing? There's nothing here for you. You shouldn't do what you're doing. He was trying to find a timid excuse, but in the end, that guy left. And Charlie preserved the dignity of his best friend. And you can imagine how grateful best friend's husband was in knowing that a friend like Charlie stood up. A friend like Charlie didn't allow what people thinking, what the party was going towards, to determine his action, to determine his value and not step up for his friend. Or I think about another teenager, we'll call her Mary, who one night she gets a phone call from friends and say, let's go have party. And they all jump in the car, bunch of girls, too much alcohol when they're not supposed to. And she's very uncomfortable. And at some point she pulls into the parking lot and says, you girls are my friends, but you have a choice right now. I don't think this is something for us. You ever had the choice to dump whatever you have in your glasses and we go and do something else together, or you can get out your car and just stay here. They chose to leave her alone, but she's at peace with her conscience. She knows she did the right thing. She knows she followed Christ and her King to the fullness. Having that strength to do this is not easy. This is not easy, especially when we think about Jesus in the gospel talking, my kingdom does not belong to this world. Having people doing things like that makes me question, where do I belong? Who is my king? Saint Therese says, as she's talking about prayer and commenting the Our Father, she says, let us imagine that we have within us a palace of priceless worth, built entirely of gold and precious stones. A palace, in short, fit for so great a lord. Imagine that within the palace dwells this great king who has vouchsafed to become your father and who is seated upon a throne of supreme price, namely your heart. Christ, the King, doesn't want to be simply the King of the universe. He wants to be the King of your heart. And that makes a difference. Makes a difference because it forces me to ask myself, who is sitting on the throne of my heart? Because whoever is sitting on the throne of my heart, him I will worship, she I will worship. You know, sometimes you're young and you're in love, and sometimes on that throne, your boyfriend or your girlfriend can be sitting there, and you worship them, and they become your idol and the center of your life. It becomes different when they become your spouse, husband and wife. They don't have as much power anymore. But if it's not your boyfriend or girlfriend, might be your friends, might be your success, your popularity, the power you can get. You can simply pretend you're free and you're not following anybody. You're following somebody for sure. Maybe you don't realize that, but somebody is sitting on that throne and is telling you, you should follow me. Or maybe you willingly are becoming a slave and enslaved to whoever is sitting on your throne. But only Jesus Christ is the King that will lead you into freedom. He's the only one who wants truly your good. So where do I start? When Jesus appeared to St. Faustina in her diary, you know, she had all this conversation with Jesus. And at the very beginning, Jesus says to her, before I come as the just judge, I'm coming as the King of mercy. Before I come as the just judge, I'm coming first as the King of mercy. A lot of time when you don't know where to start, when it's kind of complicated to put order in your life, confession and the sacrament of reconciliation, the throne of mercy of God, is the best place to start. You know, being forgiven, no matter what you did. Being forgiven and be born anew again, no matter how ugly things were for you. No matter how failures you think you did. Starting from yourself. Starting from your friends. Where do I belong? Where do my friends belong? You know, if none of your friends are really into a life committed of some sort of values, some sort of religion, some sort of life with Christ, it will be very hard to follow Christ. And not just to follow Him on Sunday, to follow Him totally and fully, committed, as Christ the King of your life. And we have a great opportunity here at Mass already. You know, the most ancient and beautiful prayer that we have, the prayer that Jesus Himself gave to His disciples, we pray that at Mass every Sunday, every day at Mass. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. If God's kingdom doesn't come on earth in my heart first, how is it going to spread outside? How is it going to be true also that He reigns in everybody's heart if I don't start from my heart? If I don't decide right now, today, Lord, I want to give my life to you. I don't know what it means. I don't know how it will look like, but I understand there is something more here. I understand I need to take this step forward and stand like all these our friends stood before in front of us and say, I'm here and I'm testifying, I want to do this. And inspiring one another. I need to let go something, I need to embrace something new. Every time Christ comes, He comes with something new. And that's why it's so beautiful and so surprising, because we cannot put God in a box and pretend we know how He's coming, pretend to know how and what He will do. He will come in a new way. But it's a matter of you to really choose. Choose to start from yourself, from the mercy you can encounter with God. And then everything else will find its proper place.